Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach live podcast broadcast here in downtown Colorado Springs, Colorado. I am your host, Donny Coram, and this is the show where we discuss how to find, figure, fund, fix, and flip a foreclosure deal with a minimum profit to you as the coaching student of $25,000 or more. Guys, the market is shifting. We talk about that on pretty much every single show. The reality is the market's always in a state of shift, and a lot of people are trying to adapt to that shift. We are in, a lot of people would argue economically, we're in a winter, right? And in the winter, resources are scarce. You have to stay warm. You have to provide for food. There are things you have to do in the winter that are a little easier to obtain in the summer. Now, we are physically heading into summer here in Colorado. If you look out my balcony right now, you can see it's super cloudy and cold and dreary and everything you would not expect for May weather. But this is the time right before the big thaw here in the Colorado market where spring and summertime really take flight. I can see the trees starting to bud a little bit, and you know from there it's going to get warmer, it's going to get more comfortable, it's going to get a lot more fun here in the Colorado marketplace. Now, some people are into the winter, right? And in the winter, they're skiing and they're snowboarding and they get up to the mountains quite a bit, and winter is their favorite season. My point is that adaptation to whatever season you're in, financially, physically, personally, is critical to your success as a real estate investor. So I want to dive in a little bit. Obviously, a big part of what I work on with my coaching clients is the mindset piece of it. And that's critical to people because they come to me with a basic understanding of what it takes to get a real estate deal done. It's not rocket science. Am I right? You got to buy low. You got to rehab the property to market. You need to sell the property at or above market, preferably, right? It's a very simple process when you break it down. Buy low, sell high. So why doesn't everybody just hop in here and start real estate investing? What prevents the vast majority of the population from taking advantage of the fact that there are always deals in the market? They can always be bought below market. There is funding available to do those deals. There's construction resources more than ever right now out there to fix those deals on your behalf. And then there's always a demand for people looking for housing to live in. So why would you not take advantage of one of the best investment vehicles out there? Well, after doing over 400 flips right here in the Colorado and surrounding area markets, okay, I have figured out that there's just some things that are the hidden enemies to everybody's success in pretty much any endeavor you can think of. Now, personal development is one of the things I'm really fond of. As a kid, I listened to a lot of Tony Robbins stuff. My dad had a copy, I'll never forget, of Awaken the Giant Within. And if you haven't read Tony Robbins' famous book, then I have to highly recommend that you spin over and spend some time with that, okay? Because in Awaken the Giant Within, it completely changed my life as a young man. I was like 13, 14 when I first picked that up. I listened to it. Actually, it was on tape. Remember cassette tapes? Well, if you don't, you're too young. I want to discuss that with you, okay? But I'm listening to these cassette tapes, and I'm learning about personal development and what it takes to become successful in the world. That really excited me. And then recently, Ed Mylett, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the brand, but I would definitely look up Ed Mylett. Ed Mylett's kind of Tony Robbins' protege. I literally watch Ed and his podcast, his video podcast, every morning when I'm taking a shower, getting ready for my day. I've got Ed Mylett on in the background as I'm preparing, and there's all this mindset shift that has to take place for everybody every single day. But like everybody, I have to have that mindset development. So Ed recently broke down the 4 Ds and that are the hidden enemies that prevent you from being successful. And of course, with Ed's permission, I'd love to go ahead and give you those 4 Ds today. I'm certain he'd want to spread this out there because as a personal development coach, as a matter of fact, USA Today rated him the best mindset coach in the world, according to USA Today. He came up with 4 things that basically stand in everybody's way, the adversaries and lies that prevent you from making the progress that you need to make to be successful in real estate investing for certain, but in every obstacle that hits your life. So we're going to go through the 4 Ds today during the 20 minutes we have today. Obviously, if you're here and you're listening and you want to learn, you want to get some specific stuff on the real estate side of this, please join in, comment below. I'd be happy to answer real estate related questions, but I'm going to tie these 4 Ds back to the real estate process and how it's so critical that you bypass these to become successful in your real estate investing career. And guys, I'm realizing as I really dive into this, as I get students and I interact more with the psychology of this, I've been a sales trainer for years. Started out in the my first company where I had to train people in sales. I owned a Dish Network distributorship. And I was like 19 or 20 years old, and I had a whole team of cold callers who I had to pump up and motivate every single day to get on the phone and start making calls to kick their day off. And I know there's some of you out there, they listen to personal development, your eyes roll. It's like, this doesn't apply to me. It doesn't work for me. I got to tell you, as a guy who has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, I mean this, hundreds of thousands of dollars on personal development, okay? Going to seminars, reading books, developing mind. I can tell you this applies to everybody. No matter what stage you're at, when you look at the most powerful people in the world, they're always working on their mindset, and I want to help you to work on your mindset today and really dive in to the personal development stuff that may be preventing you from doing this, with the hopes you're going to get excited about this and want to join into the program, the coaching program, and get started doing deals. I'm signing up 2 or 3 clients a month now, so it's a pretty consistent pace. I don't need to expand my client base. Obviously, if you're watching and you want to become a client, I would love to help you to find, figure, fund, fix, and flip your first deal as well. But I want to really dive into the things that are stopping you from doing this on your own. Okay. So the first one is discouragement. Let's talk about discouragement. Have you ever felt like something was just not going to work out? Okay. That's the feeling of discouragement. It's the opposite of courage. You are discouraged. And as a result of discouragement, the things you were super confident about doing, like for instance, buying a fix and flip to make a profit and change your entire financial outcome. You go into that like everybody does with this huge mindset of, I can do this. This isn't rocket science. I can handle it. But inevitably something comes in along the way that discourages you. I see it all the time. And the primary method of discouragement that I see stopping people from getting into this industry is the ability to find deals. The reason that's difficult, not impossible, but it's difficult, is because the deals are out there, but you must be able to invest both time and money to locate those deals on a consistent basis. So a lot of people start out, they do a little cold calling, they do some driving for dollars for about a day or 2, they get going, right? And then they realize that this is actually way more complicated. And if they happen to find a deal, they don't have the skill set available just yet to do that deal, to actually get it to the finish line. Everybody starts somewhere. You are not alone. That is perfectly normal. The way we solve that in my coaching program is we find the deals for the clients. So on your behalf, we're out there locating deals all the time. We have market knowledge on the market, but obviously we're running ads, we're doing Facebook, we're hunting down wholesalers we work with, we're doing on-market strategies, we're sending postcards. I got a TV ad that features my wife that's out there. We are constantly looking for deals. So when you're feeling discouraged about doing deals, just know that you're not alone. That's a normal part of the process. And if you don't have both a good amount of time to invest in locating deals and the money to invest in the marketing required to bring those deals to you, if you don't have both of those things working in like kind, this is a very difficult process. I'm not trying to discourage you more. I'm trying to say the solution to that is either A, make more time in your day, like figure out a way where you can dedicate a good 10 to 15 hours a week in addition to whatever you do for your day job to locate deals, and the simpler route that all of my clients choose is they hire me as their coach, and then with that, they get a deal finding service that's locating deals on your behalf not because I'm an altruistic dude who wants to hand out money. Okay, that would be cool too, but that's not the purpose. The reason I do that is because I know that people who do deals will do more deals. And what's in it for me is that we mark up the deals just a little bit on each deal, leaving a minimum profit of around $25,000 after we mark it up. That way I can cover the cost of locating the deal and make a small profit for finding the deal on your behalf. Okay, so I don't want you to be discouraged about that. It's easy to find deals. You just need the right system. And I have a system in place that finds we're literally filing 8 to 10 offers per week now to go out and try to find the right deals for the clients on a consistent basis. So let's move on to D number 2. So D1 was discouragement. Number 2 is doubt. And I got to tell you, this is what gets a lot of people. Doubt is a normal thing. Doubt is when you don't believe that something is possible. I doubt it, right? Have you ever said that? Well, a lot of people, and I swear I see it when I explain what I do. People I've known for decades, okay? I explain my process to them, and even though they know I'm a solid guy, even though they know that this is my business, this is what I do for a living, I can see the doubt trigger in their mindset. It can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. The thing about it is I speak with conviction, right? I'm sure you've noticed that. If you tune in the shows at all, you know that I've got a certain tonality, right? That makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about, primarily because I do. Right? And I've been doing this a long time, over 400 flips right here in the marketplace, but I take that conviction and I apply it towards my content, the social media, the video you're watching right now. The problem there is if you are battling doubt, which so many people are in the early phase of their investment career. And I'm not immune to that. When I bought my first deal right here in Colorado Springs, Colorado on 439 East Bijou, they say you never forget your first one. My first one is downtown. It's about a few blocks from where I'm sitting right now, okay? And I bought the property and I was filled with doubt. My oldest daughter had just been born. I had a day job I went to every single day. Now I had to make half of a second mortgage payment. And I thought for certain this property was going to bankrupt me. My now ex-wife thought for certain this property was going to bankrupt us. We were completely filled with doubt. Listen, I'm not telling you you're not going to experience doubt throughout the process of doing your first fix and flip. I'm not going to tell you you're not going to experience doubt when you do your 50th fix and flip. Okay. Every time I do a deal, there's a certain part of me that has some doubt as to whether this deal is going to be profitable. I'm not immune to it. The variable is through years of training, through working at this for a long time and doing a lot of deals, both in personal development and just experience in the real estate market, I have learned how to push through that doubt by supporting it with factual data. Okay. Rather than feeling the doubt and going, I'm just not going to do this because it doesn't feel right, I support that by learning the 3 numbers that I use on every evaluation. Real quick, my keep it simple, stupid evaluation process for looking at foreclosures is you need 3 numbers to make any deal work. Number 1 is you must know your acquisition price. Pretty obvious. What are you buying it for, right? Number 2, you must have clarity as to what the rehab is going to cost. And number 3, you must know what you're going to sell it for. If you know your acquisition price, your rehab cost, and your sales price, you can extrapolate within reasonable accuracy what you're going to profit on that deal. Now, this is not to say that things don't go wrong, because that is life, right? And this is an investment vehicle, and all investment involves risk. But you can overcome your doubt on any deal by quickly processing. Let's say we buy the house for $400,000, right? We then put 300 grand. Let's keep the numbers in my head simple here. $300,000 purchase price, which is my average acquisition for a property here in Colorado Springs. Okay. We are putting 50 grand, let's say, into the rehab. That brings us to 300 plus the 50 grand, or 350 grand. And now we're going to sell it for 400,000, right? This is a real quick basis. But if we take that, you've got 350 in, you're getting 400 out. 400 minus 350 leaves you $50,000 in gross profit. Then you got to split that with the powers that be, as I call it. You've got your cost of funds, you've got your agent commissions, you've got your closing costs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you subtract out half of that 50 grand, you are left with a $25,000 gross profit. Now, if you've watched the flipping shows, you know that these guys want to make 50, 80, 100 grand in take-home profit. And that's great for TV. It is not so great for consistently doing deals right here in your local market. You can find home runs, you can hit home runs in any sport, but if you're only focused on home runs, it becomes hard to build a system that's sustainable. So let me dispel some of your doubt here. By knowing that your numbers are solid out of the gate, you can remove the fact that, yes, there's still risk involved, but you can push past that doubt and actually do a deal. And the more deals that you do, the easier that's going to become. Okay. The next one is delusion. Delusion. So we started with discouragement. We then went to doubt. Now we're on delusion. Well, what is delusion? Delusion is believing that something is true that simply is not true. When you are delusional, you believe that only a certain class or individual people can fix and flip properties. Like I see clients all the time that have gotten in their head that only the very wealthy can do this. Or if that were true, how do people become wealthy in foreclosure investing? Right? Don't be delusional about this. Correct your thought process and go, anybody who decides they want to buy a house below market, they want to fix that house up and they want to sell it, make a profit, can absolutely positively do this. What you need is some investment capital to get started. The delusion kicks in where this is a get rich quick thing where anybody can just pop up, buy a house out of the blue and get this thing done. You have to have some investment capital, some skin in the game on behalf of the lenders who are doing this deal. And generally speaking, I'm looking for a investment capital of $50,000 to do a deal. Now we've got a calculation of what that's based on, but real quickly, we're buying houses at 300 grand. There's a 15% down payment requirement on behalf of the hard and private money lenders that I work with right now. They want to see 15% skin in the game. So that leaves 300,000 at 15% is $45,000. Right? You can't be delusional enough to think that people are going to lend you money to buy an investment property. They barely want to lend you money to buy a house you're going to live in with nothing down. But if you're a VA, that is possible. And you can buy a flip with a VA loan. Okay, so if you're a military member, there are zero down loans, obviously, to buy a house to occupy. But what a lot of people don't know, there's also zero down loans for houses that you want to invest in. In either case, the delusion comes from that you are outclassed, that you're not smart enough, that there's some reason that you can't do this. And I want to tell you a quick personal story on that. Before I got I passed my Series 65 license about a month ago. I'm in the process of becoming a registered investment advisor, so I can speak not only on real estate investing, which does not require a license because I'm a real estate advisor now, but moving into advising on stocks and bonds and mutual funds and other investment vehicles of that sort. I realized years ago, I went to Goldman Sachs in New York, and they had a hiring event out there. I was out there for another reason, but I found out about this hiring event, and I go to the event, and I'm sitting in there they had the application process. And in the application, they were basically trying to determine if I was more the quant type. If you ever watch the show Billions, there's a character in Billions who it's a lady, but she's got her head shaved, right? And she goes by they, them, and she's basically a quant, a super genius in the space of in analyzing potential stocks, moves, and et cetera. So the application was trying to find out if you were more focused on the quantitative analysis side or if you were more on the sales side, right? Years of experience now has taught me that I'm on the sales side, but I didn't want to be outclassed. So I kind of spun my answers on the application to indicate that I was more on the quantitative side. So I ended up in a room full of people who were quants and just these super, super smart. Now listen, I'm not going to tout myself the smartest guy in the room. I know what I know, and I know it very, very well. But when it comes down to it, I'm not like a super genius by any means. But I'm in this room full of mathematical super geniuses. Little socially awkward, but mathematical super geniuses, okay? And in this room, I'm realizing that I'm outclassed, and I scared myself a little into believing that I could not pass the necessary licensing exams to get into becoming a securities registered broker dealer, right? This stuck with me for 20 years, basically, where I just believed I was incapable of doing this. It was only when I started actually digging into the securities law tests, which, by the way, are painfully boring. Okay, there's a lot of information you got to store. Okay, but when I actually started doing the training that was necessary, much like studying normal law or getting your real estate license, you realize that it's not something that any not normal person has to be required to do, but rather that only certain people are actually going to sit down and do it. That's the variable. Not whether you got to be smart or there's a certain level or bar you got to pass, but whether you have the wherewithal to take the time out to do it. Well, that's the case right here in real estate investing. A lot of people deluded themselves into believing that only certain people can do this. What I do in the coaching is I explain to anybody in any walk of life who's got the basic investment capital to do this, can do it, probably should do it as a side hustle in addition to their existing income, and can make a lot of money getting that process done. Okay, so that's delusion. That's our third D. So real quick, we recap: discouragement, doubt, delusion. Our final D is delay. And this one could be fatal. right? And I mean that in a financial sense. Every moment that you wait to get into financial investing of any sort is costing you money. The best time to invest was 20 years ago. Is that not fact? Right? And today, if you're sitting here delaying, I love what Donny's saying. I'm going to get to it at some point. I'm going to sign up. I want to do a couple of deals. I got to wait for this to happen or that to happen before I get started. Yada, yada, yada. All the things that we do to delay. And I talk to people on the coaching call every day. And I'm going to let you in on a secret. On the opening of the call, I'm going to tell you, if we decide to hop on a call and discuss coaching, the opening of the call, I'm going to tell you that here's the price of the coaching. And then I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a substantial discount if you sign up for the coaching today. This serves two purposes. Number one, I'm not in sales, right? I'm a consultant now. And as a consultant, if I have to convince you that you need me as a consultant, you're probably not the right client for me. Right? Just like if you walk into the doctor's got to convince you to get this medical procedure that you so clearly need, right? Then you're probably not the right client. So I'm not in sales anymore. So I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give you a substantial discount if you delay. If you don't delay and you sign up today, right? Number two, it serves a purpose of at some point, the opportunity is going to come to buy a property below market. The misconception is that there are no deals. That's not the case. The reality is that deals happen each and every single day. The difference between the people who get deals and the ones that don't is the ability to act quickly, to not delay. Right? So I found 47 deals in a year we successfully fixed and flipped and made a profit nearing $1 million that year alone. And I did so by not having to contemplate whether or not I was going to pull the trigger on an obvious deal. Right? A lot of people need time to process information, and I'm not knocking that at all. You want to be intelligent in all of your investing choices, but the other set of people, and most of them are, the wealthy people, have realized that the key is to act quickly. When opportunity presents itself, you must jump. So delay is the leading killer of real estate investors who want to make money in this industry. If you get plenty of time to evaluate a deal, it probably was not a deal. And here's how I know that to be the case. If it were a deal, there are multiple investors who are looking at that deal, and if they're more experienced or able to move quicker than you are, that's not a word, right? If they're able to move quicker than you are, right, then they are going to get that deal prior to you getting that deal. And that's the service I provide for my clients. I give you a little bit of time to make a buying decision because I'm locking the deal down as soon as I know it's a deal, which I can generally determine inside of 5 minutes, okay, based on the very quick numbers. I'm locking it down, and then I take that deal and I source it to whatever client is supposed to get a deal next, making sure that you have a consistent flow of deals, as many as you want to do in your pipeline. In exchange for that, I'm paid an upfront coaching fee that's annual once you start doing deals, and I am paid a upcharge, a wholesale acquisition fee to find the deal on your behalf. It really is a no-brainer program for somebody who wants to do real estate investing. The problem is people want to delay. They want to think about it. They want to process it. So I can tell you this right now. I'm booking 3 to 4 coaching calls per day right now. A lot of people are finally starting to come in. They want to chat about the coaching. I have no shortage of clients. I'm not going to ever have a shortage of clients. I really don't believe that's ever going to be a problem. When you're starting out, that's tough. But once you build momentum, people understand what you do. It's really easy to obtain clients. There's no shortage of deals either, though. Right? We are currently building out systems to scale our deal acquisition system to keep up with the client demand. So this whole system is going to grow. And right now we're focused mostly on the Colorado Springs and Pueblo markets. But as it starts to grow, we're evaluating other places where foreclosures are prevalent. And in those places, we're going to be looking to do deals and set up the same systems, get clients in those markets, and expand this foreclosure deals coach vision and reality to as many people across the country who want to buy deals. Right? It's an awesome system if you decide to be a part of it. I see there's a lot of people still watching right now. We're over our normal 20 minutes, but I want to open it up. If you're still watching, ask me the questions. What topics are you concerned about in doing your first deal? Or are you just dealing with the 4 hidden enemies? Are you just discouraged in your day job right now? You're not certain what the next place to turn is. Are you filled with doubt that this could even be real? Where's that doubt coming from? You've heard about real estate investing. You've seen the flipping shows. You know this can be done, and you probably know somebody who's done several deals or has done a deal, so you know it can work, right? Delusion. Are you holding yourself out? There's something about you that prevents you from taking this step. I have people in all walks of life, all across the country, who are investing right here in the Colorado Springs market on properties they're never going to see physically, and they're making money doing it. What separates you from those people? Those people took action. That's the only variable between you and the person who wants to do this and the person who did do it, as they took action. So I encourage you to hop on a call, schedule a call with me, head out to foreclosuredealscoach.com, schedule a call online. Let's do a deal with Donny, right? Once you learn this process, you're going to want to do it again and again and again and again, and it's going to supplement your income. My wife and I do 4 to 5 flips a year now. We've kept it very simple. Right? We're targeting the same 25 grand I encourage for my clients. So it's like an extra 100 grand a year on top of what I make from consulting, on top of what we make from our flooring store, right? On top of the other sources of income that we have, we are taking that income from flipping one property at a time, and it's completely accentuating the quality and aspects of our life. Why not you? Because you're delusional? That doesn't make any sense. And finally, delay. Don't delay. The time to do this is right now. You know for certain that there are houses in foreclosure right now. You know for certain that people are hurting economically. I'm not happy about that. I'm not looking forward to seeing people suffer. But the fact of the matter is, with interest rates at highs we haven't seen in a decade or so, okay, people are struggling to sell their property, or they're not even trying to sell their property because they don't know where else they would go. But if they lose their job, they lose their source of income, they get divorced, people die every day, houses go to probate. Probate, if they can't get the property sold, ends up in a foreclosure situation a lot of the times. Okay, so in these situations, it's more difficult for sellers to move properties right now. I can tell you with certainty the next 2 years are going to be some of the best years for investors to do deals in a heavy foreclosure market. Will they take longer to sell on the retail side? Absolutely. When inventory goes up, time on market goes with it because there are more choices, but the profitability will also come up. See, when houses are tougher to sell, particularly ugly, dated houses that need a lot of work, they go down in value. I don't think we're going to see a huge dip in the retail market. There's still a huge demand for housing, and there's more people than there are available houses. I don't think we're going to see retail come down. I do think that we're going to see wholesale come down. I do think that foreclosures are going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper because the general retail consumer does not want to pay 7.2% interest rates for a property that they have to then sink $30,000 to $40,000 into. That just seems unlikely. Okay, so in conclusion, guys, the time to invest is now. Don't delay. Don't let discouragement get in your way. Don't let delusion stop you from doing this. And don't doubt that anybody who decides to do this most certainly can. I am living proof. I'm just a normal guy who had a normal job, who wanted to get into this fix and flip thing, but I had the personal development. I had the backing to believe that anything was possible and to take the steps necessary to get moving in my real estate investment journey. Now I'm helping people just like you break through their delusion, their doubt, and get to the finish line and doing a deal. I certainly know I can help you as well. All right, guys, that really is our show for today. I don't want to rant any further. I'm having the time of my life with this consulting business. I'm loving every moment of it. I would love to have a conversation with you that's going to start with me explaining how I'm going to get you from where you are today to becoming a successful real estate investor, doing 4 to 5 deals per year, making 20 to 25 grand a deal just out of the gate. I can help anybody who wants to do this, do this. There's a process that can be followed. It's not easy. It's not fun, but it can make you very wealthy. It can change your entire financial dynamic. And winter is coming as it relates to foreclosure investing. Now is the time to get involved. With that, this is Donny Coram. Thanking you so much for tuning into the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast each and every single week, and reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.